Colin, thank you so much for joining me here today. Can you tell me about the surge of private placements in Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. I joined MetLife Investment Management 11 years ago, and the market's just going from strength to strength. I think there's been a number of drivers of that. There's the core corporate issuance that we like to see. And then over the piece, we've had a number of exciting new sectors, thinking, for example, sports finance. We've seen some asset managers in Europe. We had universities for a while, lots of new sectors. And then it's always been there, but in recent years, really just the burst of infrastructure activity.
Yeah, and then it's actually such a diverse asset classes that do come in now. But everybody talks about private credit, for example. How does that add to the increases of private placement deals?
So I think it's exciting times, and it's funny, you can talk to everyone and they'll give you a different definition of what private credit is. I think of what my team does is predominantly in the investment grade private credit market and maybe some of the higher double Bs. But look, new entrants are fantastic. It brings exciting new ideas to the market. It grows the market, and of course it increases competition, but we welcome that excitement.
And as you say, there's not just competition with the existing players, but new players coming in as well. Is it the case with private placements too?
I think so, yes. If you look back, private placements, if you go back to the history lesson to 120 years ago, plus 150 years, it was just US life insurance companies. Now it's really an asset class that works for the UK, for Europe, for global entrants. Maybe 10 years ago, we debated whether it should be US private placements or global private placements. But hey, it works for everyone. And the more interest in the asset class, the better.
Amazing. So just looking to the future after the history lesson, can you tell us maybe about the opportunities that excite you in this sector?
Yeah, I think the opportunity to help grow the market, to see, try and generate the next vertical or the next niche. And in many ways, we can't tell you what that is. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, would sports clubs be borrowing in Europe the way they are? The answer might have been no, or I don't know. But look, the real opportunity is that this is a market. It's evolving with everything else, but it stood up to challenges. We like to think of the private placement market as always being open. It's not like the public market, which may close, may open. And then it's a real relationship market. So I just like the opportunities of meeting new issuers, meeting existing issuers, and really helping to put money to work.
And that's one of the things that everybody talks about at this conference, that it's just all about relationships and growing them and building them in the long term. So I've also heard that, there's just a really positive outlook for private placements in the future. But what are the tailwinds and headwinds here to consider?
So I think the tailwinds, look, ultimately we're investing in credit. So it depends on the health of the economy. I talked about it. I spoke on a panel this morning. I talked about it. The markets are carrying on, but there's wars happening. There's been tariff issues, and I think the real risk of the headwinds is a downturn. Is something that slows down activity. But on the flip side, as I mentioned, because I always like to finish a challenge and an opportunity, this is a market that's navigated its way through crisis before, and I'm absolutely sure that it will do again.
And oftentimes it's part of like a larger investment portfolio, and sometimes people think of it as a way to balance out the more risky investments. Is that still the case?
Yes, I could bring my portfolio managers in to talk to you about it as well, but we really like the private credit, or I should say the investment grade private credit market in particular, because of the structural protections that you have that get you into voice early, unlike perhaps most public bonds where you're just waiting for something to happen rather than being in voice, and that really helps protect, we feel, losses in the downside by being in voice and being able to talk earlier.
Amazing. Colin, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're very welcome.